screaming in your head, swallowing the words that I know you would have said if you would just breathe in. Oh, screaming in your head is so tangled all around you. When you've got trouble, I've got trouble too. Oh, my life is arm in arm with you. When you've got trouble, I've got trouble too. So what do you need? I'll kiss you awake when you've had a bad dream, and I'll tell you a story, make it up as I go, or I'll sing you a song that I know that you know. It goes, my heart is tangled all around you. When you've got trouble, I've got trouble too. Oh, my life is arm in arm with you. When you've got trouble, I've got trouble too. You and I live like the tree and the vine. Oh, my darling, we're so delicately intertwined. I'll ease your pain 'cause you've eased mine. Oh, my heart is tangled all around you. When you've got trouble, I've got trouble too. Oh, my life is arm in arm with you. When you've got trouble, I've got trouble too.
Lying in my bed, I hear the clock tick and think of you. Caught up in circles, confusion is nothing new. Flashback, warm nights, almost left behind. Suitcase of memories, time after sometimes you picture me. I'm walking too far ahead, you're calling to me. I can't hear what you said, then you say go slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwinds. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time, if you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. After my picture fades and darkness has turned to gray, watching through windows, you're wondering if I'm okay. Secrets stolen from deep inside. The drum beats out of time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting time after time. Time after time. Time after time. Time after time. Time after time.
Have compassion for everyone you meet, even if they don't want it. What seems conceit is always a sign, always a sign, always a sign. For those you encounter, have compassion, even if they don't want it. What seems bad manners is always a sign, always a sign, always a sign. Always a sign of things no ears have heard, always a sign of things no eyes have seen. You do not know what wars are going on down there where the spirit meets the bone. Down there where the spirit meets the bone. Down where the spirit meets the bone. For everyone you listen to, have compassion, even if they don't want it. What seems cynicism is always a sign, always a sign, always a sign. Always a sign of things no ears have heard, always a sign of things no eyes have seen. You do not know what wars are going on down there where the spirit meets the bone. Down there where the spirit meets the bone. Down where the spirit meets the bone. Down there where the spirit meets the bone. Down there where the spirit meets the bone. Down where the spirit meets the bone.
Hello, we're REM, and this is what we do.
When you dance along in the night is yours alone. When you think you've had too much, this life to hang on. Don't let yourself go, 'cause everybody cries, and everybody hurts. Some
sometimes everything is wrong. Now it's time to sing along. When your day is night alone, if you feel like letting go, when you think you've had too much of this life, well, hang on. 'Cause everybody hurts. Take comfort in your friends. Everybody hurts. Don't throw your hand. Don't throw your hand. If you feel like you're alone, no, 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 you are not alone. If you're on your own in this life, your days and nights are long. When you're sure you've had too much of this life, well, hang on. 'Cause everybody hurts. But sometimes everybody cries. Everybody hurts. Sometimes everybody hurts. Sometimes. So hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Thanks, everybody.
When the night has come land is dark and the moon is the only light we see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. Oh, darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. If the sky we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. Oh, darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me.
Good morning. I'm Jesse Spencer Smith, and I'll be your service coordinator this morning. Let's begin by striking the chalice, and let's not strike the chalice. Let's strike the singing bowl and then light the chalice. Our service today will be by our minister, Reverend Cynthia Cain, and will be on compassion versus codependency. Let there be light. Let the joy of light, the light of happiness, the light of contentment, may it illuminate our paths and fill our lives with peace. And let there be dark, for it is from our dark places that we are brought forward, tried and tested and impelled toward growth. It is in these places we realize compassion and learn to love. And there was day, and there was night, and there was joy, and there was sorrow, and it was good. We may be socially distanced, but know that we can always rely on one another. And if you find yourself in need of support or of assistance, you can always reach out to our minister, Reverend Cynthia Cain, at cincain@gnuuc.org. Her cell phone is listed on the screen, 859-221-3034. And if there's no answer, always please do feel free to leave a text. We'd like to remind each other of the path that we're traveling with one another. Ours is a different type of faith where we don't have a single creed that we are ascribing to, but instead we have joined together and we make a covenant with one another, and we remind ourselves of this covenant every week. So as you're so moved, please remember with me and speak together our covenant that we have written for ourselves at GNUUC. We covenant together to make a welcoming community, to walk together in the way of truth and love, to seek the life of the Spirit as it is known by each person, to support each other in thought, word, and deed as we work to build a better world. Our time for All Sages is going to be the story of Harvey Milk and the rainbow flag. And this is going to be read aloud as a picture book as part of Brightly Story Time. So younger ones, or those young at heart, actually everyone's welcome. Go ahead and let's listen to the story of Harvey Milk.
Welcome to Brightly Storytime. I'm Miss Linda. Today, we're going to read a story about love. Sometimes, girls love girls, and boys love boys. The rainbow flag is a symbol of this love, and the story we're reading tells its history. It's called Pride, the story of Harvey Milk and the rainbow flag, written by Rob Sanders, illustrated by Stephen Salerno. You have to give them hope. Hope for a better world, hope for a better tomorrow. Harvey Milk was an ordinary man, but he had an extraordinary dream. That dream would change history. Harvey dreamed that everyone, even gay people, would have equality. He dreamed that he and his friends would be treated like everyone else. He dreamed that one day people would be able to live and love as they pleased. With his New York accent, Harvey talked to everyone about his dream. His voice boomed, his body bounced with energy and excitement. Some people listened. A few agreed. Most did not. But Harvey's big voice and his big dream wouldn't be stopped. He discovered that the best way to change laws was to help make laws. In 1977, Harvey Milk took a big step toward that dream when he became one of the first openly gay people to be elected to political office in the United States. Harvey and his friends planned marches to protest inequality and unfair laws. And just days before one of the marches, Harvey had an idea. A symbol, he thought. We need a symbol that shows who we are and how we feel. Something to carry during the march. Something to make people feel they're part of a community. Something to give people hope. Something extraordinary. Harvey knew an artist who could help, Gilbert Baker. Harvey asked. Gilbert said, "We need a flag." Volunteers arrived to help Gilbert's design come to life. Together, they dipped fabric into large barrels filled with vivid, vibrant dyes. They cut and pieced and sewed until Harvey, Gilbert, and the other activists had a flag with 8 colorful stripes, a flag that Harvey hoped would give hope. On June 25, 1978, when it was time for the march, a breeze stirred in San Francisco. The flag unfurled. Rights are won only by those who make their voices heard. The wind blew. The flag fluttered, flapped, and flew. A rainbow, as bright and unique as the men and women who walked behind it, led the march. Harvey and the people asked for equality. They asked to be treated like everyone else. They asked to live and love as they pleased. They hoped the march would make a difference. Harvey was proud of the flag and proud of himself. He hoped others could be proud too. 5 months later, on the morning of November 27th, 1978, Harvey and the mayor of San Francisco, George Moscone, were assassinated. Their lives were taken by a man who did not think like Harvey, or feel like him, or love like him. The flag did not fly on that dark, sad night. Instead, thousands and thousands of people marched silently, carrying candles. The candlelight wove through the streets of San Francisco, up and down hills and around city buildings. A mile of glowing candlelight in honor of 2 lives lost. That could have been the end of Harvey's dream and the colorful flag. But it wasn't. More rainbow flags were created. Some of the colors changed. 8 stripes became 6 stripes. But the meaning of the flag did not change. It was a flag of equality. More and more people began to think of the flag as their flag. They began to feel pride. They began to have hope. In 1994, Gilbert Baker designed another rainbow flag. This one was larger than all the rest. Women and men, side by side, carried the flag. A proud, mile-long rainbow floating through New York City. The flag wove through the streets, up and down avenues and boulevards and around city buildings. The people demanded equality. They demanded to be treated like everyone else. They demanded to live and love as they pleased. They were proud. They had hope. They would make a difference. I ask for the movement to continue, for the movement to grow. More rainbow flags were made. Some were printed on bumper stickers and t-shirts. Others were hoisted onto lampposts on Halsted Street in Chicago. One was hung in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. Soon, the rainbow flag was flying in other countries, like Brazil, England, Israel, Russia, Singapore, and Turkey. The rainbow flag now unfurled on farms, in suburbs, and in cities. The flag flew proudly outside public buildings, hotels, shops, restaurants, churches, and homes. And once, on June 26, 2015, the White House was awash in the colors of the rainbow flag. Equality, pride, hope, love. Harvey's dream became a flag for us all. Maybe you've seen the rainbow flag hanging around your neighborhood. Now you know, it's much more than just a pretty flag. It's a symbol of love and equality for millions of people around the world. Come back to read more stories together anytime you'd like, or find more books to read yourself at readrightly.com. Bye.
Thank you so much for choosing that for us, Reverend Cynthia. That was lovely. every week we take a little bit of time to take a moment and to support those causes that are most important to us. We support Greater Nashville UU. We also support those institutions that we feel express our principles. For this month, our Share the Plate partner is the COVID-19 Response Fund. This is supporting individuals and organizations affected by COVID-19. We have several different ways that you can support Greater Nashville Unitarian Universalist Congregation and also Share the Plate. So 1/2 of donations that are made that are marked Share the Plate, half will go to GNUUC, half will go to our partner organization. So to do this, you can click donate on the Nashville UU.org site. You can text, and you can also mail a check. So let's go ahead and listen to Bill Withers sing Lean on Me, and we'll take a few moments and take the opportunities to support Greater Nashville Unitarian Universalist Congregation and also COVID-19 response.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be a friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me.
Thank you for picking that lovely cover of Bill Withers' Lean on Me by Imaginary Future Cover, Reverend Cynthia. Please join me in meditation being led by our own Reverend Cynthia. Reverend Cynthia had a suggestion that she's learned from other ministers that have been doing online services, and that is that you might choose to turn off your video during the meditation, just to know that that you have your own privacy and peace while you enter into a state of meditation. So if you're so moved, feel free to turn off your video during this time. Reverend Cynthia.
This is a loving kindness meditation from Reverend Michelle Collins. Loving kindness meditation in Buddhism is called metta. Even if you've tinkered a little bit around the edges of Buddhist practice, you've done this or read about this meditation. It's a very, very common standard one. And normally it has a piece where we even extend loving kindness to our enemies. We won't have that piece today. That's a difficult spiritual task and not for everyone to just suddenly take on while on their own. So the practice of metta meditation, also known as loving kindness meditation, it's an awareness practice. It is so helpful. Don't just do it once, you can do it over and over. You will recite specific words and phrases that evoke a boundless, warm-hearted feeling. It's not limited to anyone, by family, by religion, or by social class. You can do it anywhere, and it's free. We begin with ourselves, and then gradually we extend the wish for happiness to all beings. So close your eyes if you're willing, and know that no one is watching you. Relax in your seat. If you're comfortable sitting with a straight spine, that might help, but not necessary if you don't want to. Just be comfortable and take a few deep breaths. And when I say deep breaths, I mean breathe in through your nose if you can. Hold for a second. Out through your mouth. And just take a few of those to get yourself centered. All right, now imagine yourself experiencing complete physical and emotional wellness and inner peace. Imagine feeling perfect love for yourself and thanking yourself for all the things that you are, knowing that you are just right for you. Focus a moment on this feeling of inner peace and imagine that you are breathing out tension and breathing in feelings of love. So, love, out, tension. Now smile to yourself and repeat these phrases to yourself. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. Bask in feelings of warmth and self-compassion for just a few moments. If your attention drifts, that's okay. Just gently redirect it to these feelings of loving kindness and let those feelings envelop you. Now begin to shift your focus to loved ones in your life. Start with someone who you are very close with, a spouse, a partner, a child, a parent, or a friend. Feel your gratitude and your love for them. Stay with that feeling. Picture them and how much you love them just the way they are. Bring their faces right into your mind's eye if you're able, one by one, and repeat these phrases to yourself. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. As you hold these phrases, again, sink into their intention or their heartfelt meaning. And if any feelings of loving kindness arise, connect the feelings with the phrases so the feelings may become stronger as you repeat the words. Once you've held these feelings toward that person or persons, bring other people from your life into your awareness one by one. Just relax and let them come into your field of vision or your field of imagination. Envision them with perfect wellness and inner peace. Now, bring your attention to those in your community that you may not know, neighbors, those you may see as you go about your daily life in a store, in a service station, as well as those you may not encounter, folks who may look like you as well as folks who may not. Bring faces and their lives and their needs into your mind with each of these phrases. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. And now, widen your attention to those throughout our country, throughout our world. Humans and animals, plants and waters. Hold these in your mind as they come and go, and gather. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. Extend your feelings of loving kindness to people all around the globe and focus on a feeling of connection and compassion. You may even want to include a person with whom you're in conflict, but not necessary. If you do, you include them to help reach a place of greater peace. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. When you feel that your meditation is complete, open your eyes. And just sit and hold your feelings deeply for a moment or two as you take a few more deep breaths. And remember to smile.
We'll now hear from Reverend Cynthia on compassion and codependency.
Good morning. This is Kindness by Naomi Shihab Nye. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment, like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go, so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop, the passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever before you learn the tender gravity of kindness. You must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches on the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere like a shadow or a friend. There's a story behind this poem. The poet had just been married and was traveling on a bus in Mexico for her honeymoon. The bus was stopped by thieves, and all of their cash, their passports, and everything of value was stolen. One person on the bus was killed. That's the Indian lying by the side of the road in the poem. But this was a true story. And after the robbery, as she was standing outside the bus with her newly wed husband, someone came up to them and just spoke to them and said, "I am so sorry. I am so sorry this happened to you." That meant a great deal to her, and she's never forgotten it. She sat down and wrote this poem while she waited to find out how she could get her passport back. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. That word, know, what does it mean to know sorrow? To know means to become intimate with. The Hebrew word for know is yada, and it is also the same word for sexual relations. But it means an intimacy, to experience, not just to think about. We can all think about, read about, and talk about sorrow aplenty. Do we know it? It's not merely an intellectual understanding, but a deep awareness, a bodily awareness, the deepest thing inside. So it is that those who've been denied the opportunity to grieve have also denied themselves the beauty that is grief. So before we get to compassion, we must talk about grief and sorrow. This is a profound paradox, but one that we must understand. Are there ways in which grief was denied to you? Perhaps you were whisked away from the funeral. Perhaps there was no funeral. Perhaps you were muted when it came to losses, trained in the ways of stoicism or reason, and separated from the rituals and deep understanding when something was lost. That ends now, if you say so. Write this on your heart. I will open the door to my deepest sorrows, my most personal losses, my greatest sources of grief.
I will become familiar with my own self until I raise the companion of self-regard and can then go forward to meet others. This isn't self-pity. This isn't wallowing in sorrow. This is taking responsibility and learning to value and regard ourselves. So a good place to start might be acknowledging the losses that have come with this pandemic. Much has been lost. We've been encouraged, and rightly so, to seek the blessings. There are many. But even those who haven't felt material losses have much to grieve. For those of us who are beyond and well beyond the midpoint of life, and who count the months and years left rather than those past, precious time. Time for relationships, for family, for grandchildren, friends, for learning, for the pleasures of travel, for the pleasures of being in nature. Those things will never be reclaimed from this time. Think about that. What are your losses? Collectively, we've lost trust and faith in our institutions, even those which we thought liberated or empowered us and connected us, like social media, which has turned out to be as mercenary and harmful as it is helpful. A wonderful book about grief is The Smell of Rain on Dust by Martin Prechtel, an indigenous teacher from northern New Mexico. In this book, he provides suggestions for actual ways to celebrate and ritualize grief. I know for me, losing a parent at a young age, I didn't understand grief, and nor was it encouraged or permitted in any way. I've told you before, we weren't even allowed to speak about the death of our mother. And when people like psychiatrists and social workers and such would say to me, "You have never grieved the loss of your mother," I didn't know what they were talking about, or how you were supposed to do that. It can be that way for many of us in Western culture. I'm not special. Grief expressed out loud, whether in or out of character, unchoreographed and honest, for someone we have lost, or a country or a home we have lost, is in itself the greatest praise we could ever give. Grief is praise, Prechtel writes, because it is the natural way love honors what it misses. I adore that. Grief is praise. Most of us are trapped in what Prechtel calls the unemotional flatness and spiritual vacuum we have come to live in. We actually need instructions on how to grieve well. He suggests going to the sea, which is probably not possible for most of us since we are in landlocked states and there's a pandemic. Later he says, any body of water will suffice. The great Mother Ocean, he writes, is literally the womb of the entire earth and the origination of all life. You know, I don't like it when people say, I literally died. And what they really mean is they figuratively died. But I just thought about this quote from his book, and I'm like, okay, really? Is the ocean literally the mother of the earth? Yeah, kind of, it is literally the mother of the earth. It is made of the tears, he says, that's figurative, of all the grief of the world's losses since forever. He says when you go to the ocean, don't stroll onto the beach like you own the place, even if you do own the place, for that is temporary. He says take with you a true friend, a designated non-griever. It's sort of like a designated driver who is good-hearted, smart, and awake, and who promises not to write a book about you and your grief, and make sure that you won't either. The ocean will receive your grief if you bring it and honor it properly. So, codependency. You've probably heard me talk about near enemies. If not, you'll hear me again this coming year because I mention them every few months. In Buddhist teachings, we have the 4 virtues, and each has a far and a near enemy. The near enemy of compassion is pity. So if you want to bring yourself to others with love and compassion, be aware that you don't feel superior or that you don't feel sorry for the person. One of the biggest hurdles to true compassion is codependency, which can look like concern, but is actually self-abnegation. Let me explain. If you have lived with narcissists or addicted persons, and I don't just mean alcoholics and drug addicts, religion can be an addiction as well. If you're afraid of being alone, if you often feel selfish or greedy if you don't do everything in your power to help someone, if you always feel that you can never do enough and you never are enough, if you rescue or fix others while neglecting yourself, if you are everyone's go-to person, if you endure or have endured unhealthy relationships, you are probably acting from codependency more than compassion. And there's nothing bad about that. That doesn't make you a bad person. It's just something to take out and look at. There is no shortcut to compassion from codependency. You can't go from codependency to compassion without passing through self-regard. I like to call it self-regard because some people have a really difficult time with the idea of self-love. The American word for compassion comes from a Greek and Latin root, and it means to feel with, to endure something with another person. But in Arabic and Hebrew as well, it's related to framah, which is etymologically related to the word for womb. So here we come back to the womb, the mother, the ocean. So compassion immediately evokes mother love. Now the icon of a mother and a child is universal. It's a symbol of all of us at our best. But mother love is not easy. It's hard. A mother has to get up every night for her crying child, no matter how exhausted she is. She has to be aware of what the child is doing at every moment of the day. She has to put her own frustrations and exhaustion and patience on the back burner, and that child must be in her mind all day long. And then that cute little baby grows up and can become an awful disappointment. But a mother doesn't give up, no matter how dispiriting it might be. So we can be that to children if we are mothers or mother figures. But can we be that mother to our own sorrows, to our own grief? And can we do the hard work of mothering with others, which is sometimes to say, no, no, you cannot, no, I cannot, no. Martin Luther called it the hard work of love. So we've done this work on self-regard, and then we turn to the public square. There's so much for which we feel and must feel compassion. I just want to talk a moment about sustaining the gaze. Joanna Macy, who is a Buddhist teacher and a scientist, displays compassion for those who think they can hide, which is all of us at some time or other. She knows the suffering that's implied by our efforts to hide. What passes for apathy, which is not feeling, apatheia, no pathos, no feeling, in our time indicates to Macy a deep despair, an understandable despair. But along with her compassion for us comes the penetrating challenge. We have to look at things as they are, painful and overwhelming as they may be, for no healing can begin until we are fully present to this world, until we learn to sustain the gaze. And we are living in a remarkable moment. It's always a remarkable moment, but particularly since the killing and the evidentiary evidence of the killing of George Floyd. He's far from the first person of color to be killed by law enforcement. He's far from the first unarmed black male to be killed. But there was no way that we could look away. The filming of his murder by a young 17-year-old girl was there before us, right in our face, second by second, for 8 minutes. In some ways, it was so much more premeditated and alarming and distressing than seeing these people shot and falling, even if they're shot running away, even if they don't have a weapon. And it has sparked enormous compassion, grief, outrage, frustration, demands for change. We'll only see by living into it how well this goes in future. Our task, though, is to sustain the gaze, not just about George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or about these incredibly alarming acts, but sustain the gaze about environmental racism, about the coronavirus and its effects on minorities. But it's not a question of that we have to be completely enlightened or completely have mastered self-love in order to act. As we work to heal the earth also heals us. There's no need to wait. Don't ever apologize for the sorrow, grief, and rage you feel. If you feel it, it's legitimate. It's a measure of your humanity and of your maturity. It is a measure of your opening heart. And as your heart breaks open, there will be room for the world to heal. That is what is happening as we see people honestly confronting the sorrows of our time. Joanna Macy herself says that she spent a year grieving the ecological losses wrought by humans. She describes it as a year curled in a ball on her floor. But she did not resort to apathy. She did not return to indifference. She emerged stronger. You don't have to spend a year curled up on the floor, or even a day. Simply open your mind to the possibility of self-regard. More self-regard than you now feel, more self-compassion. Because I know for me, I have to learn this over and over and over again. So much mediates against it. Open the door to grieving your many losses. As they say in the 12-step program, bring your body and your mind will follow. And you will finally be on your way home. Then it is only kindness that makes sense anymore. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to gaze at bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is you I have been looking for," and that goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend. Amen.
Let's join together in singing a hymn of response. You don't have your hymnals, but it's actually one which is in the turquoise hymnal. And we'll have the words on the screen so you can sing along as you wish. Remember that you're muted so you can sing out as loudly as you would like.
We have cleared off the table, the leftovers say. Wash the dishes and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day. As the moon sets its sails to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. You can travel any country. You can travel any country where your heart leads. And know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one. And the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. There are girls who grow up strong and bold. There are boys quiet and kind. Some race on ahead, some follow behind, some go in their own way and time. Some women love women, some men love men, some raise children, some never do. You can dream all the day, never reaching the end of everything possible for you. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts, by games, but seek out spirits true. If you give your friends the best part of yourself, they will give the same back to you. You can be anybody you want to be. You can love whomever you will. Sing it with us. You can travel any country where your heart beats, and know I will love you.
Sorry for the abrupt end to the song. It's a lovely one, and we'll go and we'll capture just the very last little bit if we can.
We have
Looks like
in their own way and time. Some women love women.
Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and move into time of sharing of joys and concerns. We like to take a little bit of time each month, each week when we're together to share what's been happening in our lives. For many of us, it's one of the opportunities that we have to have during the week when we can share what's been going on. So I'd like to invite you to raise your hand. Let us know when you'd like to speak and to share. Know that we're still sharing on YouTube, so just keep that in mind. We'll also have an opportunity at the very end of the service as well to share and ask questions of Reverend Cynthia as well. And I see Cynthia, I see Thina first up. So Thina, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute yourself.
So I had the absolute joy of going to Liz's graduation ceremony yesterday. She graduated from homeschooling. She is officially a graduate of high school now. She gave an incredible, impassioned valedictorian speech that was very, very moving. And we also got to hear fantastic speech from Jesse, our own Jesse Spencer Smith. So please join me in congratulating my niece.
Thank you, Dee, and I light this candle for watching Z grow up to be the person that they are. Thank you.
I see Marjorie. Marjorie, I'm going to ask you to unmute. So Charles, if you can unmute. There you are.
On Tuesday, Charles is going to turn 92 years old. He's going to have a birthday on Tuesday. He'll be 92.
If I make it that long.
Now, Marjorie, is that 92 or did you reverse it? Is it 29? Because he does not.
Yeah.
92.
90.
Gotta be 20.
Karen, could you go and light 92 candles for Charles?
I'll get started.
Happy birthday, Charles. Who else would like to share? Raise your hand. Jenny, I'll ask you to unmute.
Oh, well. And are we coming through?
You are.
We just wanted to let you know that this is the very week that we got married 25 years ago. So we're celebrating our anniversary.
That is wonderful.
Happy 25th anniversary. Congratulations. Who else would like to share? And we'll light 25 candles as well. We'll need more candles. Please feel free to raise your hand if you'd like to share during joys and concerns.
Oh, Jesse?
Yes.
I have a joy.
Please.
Jesse, Adrian, and I attended what was apparently Brentwood, Tennessee's first ever social justice protest, and on Friday afternoon. And I'm just glad to see the idea of justice reaching even little hamlets like ours. And a shout out for the kids who organized it.
This was a youth organized Black Lives Matter protest right in the middle of Brentwood in front of the Chick-fil-A, which was a big deal, and there were dozens and dozens of people. It was wonderful to see. Are there any others that would like to share? Larry, I see you. Go ahead and I'll unmute. Go ahead.
Yeah, I always have one. I have this little thing that I've been doing on YouTube following Living Off Grid. And there's this lovely couple in British Columbia, and they're very mindful and spiritual and vegans. I'm not a vegan, but it really is kind of touching, and they're doing these things, and there's all this energy. And British Columbia, oh Lord, that's God's country. It's just something that if you have to be stuck in social isolation, it's fun. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Larry. I know that you don't usually travel to British Columbia, so I light a candle for your virtual appreciation.
And is there anyone else? Then we'll light one additional candle for all the joys and sorrows too deeply held to be shared. We can join together in singing Spirit of Life. Remember that, that we are on mute, so you can feel free to sing out. First verse will be in Spanish and the second in English. Please join with me in reciting the words as we extinguish our chalice. The words will be in your order of service. May the love which overcomes all differences which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in and among us now and always. Our closing words are Prayer for the Lamp Keeper by Reverend Joseph M. Cherry. My prayer for you today is that you understand that you cannot be and say everything, that you are a light, a lamp in the night to help people find their way, but you cannot be their way. Remember also that a steady lamp by which others may guide their own journey is a gift from and to the universe. Be steady, but do not deny your own humanity. Do not forget to take breaks. Do not let your desire to be that steward of that lamp keep you too long from your own journey. Share the burden, share the responsibility, share the honor with others. And so we close our service, and